Welcome to Manifested Reality, a place where we explore consciousness, mindset, and the deeper principles that quietly shape our lives. Today we reflect on something simple, yet deeply powerful: focus and confidence. At first glance, they may seem like ordinary traits, skills people develop through experience, but when observed carefully, they reveal something much deeper about the nature of life and perception, because confidence does not always begin with success, and focus does not always begin with certainty. Often, they begin in moments of uncertainty. Moments where the mind must choose a direction without knowing exactly where the path leads. Consider how many people move through life searching for the perfect moment to begin. They wait for clarity, they wait for certainty, they wait for the feeling of confidence to appear. But confidence rarely appears first. Instead, it quietly grows from action and attention. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast landscape. A path stretches forward into the distance, but the horizon is unclear. Mist covers the far distance. You cannot see where the path ends. Most people hesitate in this moment. They believe confidence must appear before the first step. Yet life often works in the opposite way. The first step creates focus. Focus creates clarity. And clarity slowly becomes confidence. Focus is the act of choosing where the mind will place its energy. In a world filled with distraction, this choice is more powerful than many realize. The human mind is constantly surrounded by noise, information, opinions, endless possibilities competing for attention. Without focus, the mind becomes scattered. It jumps from one thought to another, one idea to the next. But scattered attention rarely leads to meaningful progress. It creates motion without direction. Focus brings direction. When attention returns repeatedly to the same goal, the mind begins organizing itself around that direction. Patterns become visible. Ideas begin connecting. What once felt confusing slowly begins to make sense. Confidence grows in this process, not because the future suddenly becomes predictable, but because the mind begins recognizing its own ability to learn and adapt. Confidence is often misunderstood as certainty, but real confidence is something quieter. It is the calm understanding that even when the path is unclear, you will continue moving forward. Think of a person learning to walk across a narrow bridge. At first, their steps are cautious. Their mind fills with doubt. They worry about falling. Their attention is scattered between fear and movement. But with each step, something begins to change. The body learns balance. The mind learns trust. Gradually, the bridge no longer feels impossible. Not because the bridge changed, but because focus strengthened and confidence followed. Life often presents similar bridges. Moments where uncertainty stands between where we are and where we hope to go. In those moments, focus becomes the guiding force. Where we place our attention shapes what we notice. If the mind focuses on failure, every obstacle appears larger. If attention focuses on learning, every obstacle becomes information. This subtle shift changes the entire experience of progress. Focus allows the mind to see possibilities where distraction once saw confusion. Confidence then grows from repeated experience. Each small step confirms something important. Progress is possible. And once the mind recognizes this, hesitation begins to fade. Many successful individuals describe this quiet transformation. They speak of moments when everything suddenly felt clearer. But rarely do they describe a sudden miracle. Instead, they describe persistence, attention returning again and again to a single direction. confidence growing slowly as understanding deepens. What they discovered is something ancient and simple. The mind becomes powerful when it learns to guide its focus. Confidence becomes natural when focus remains steady. Without focus, energy spreads in every direction. With focus, energy begins moving toward a purpose. Confidence then becomes the natural companion of focused effort, not loud or dramatic, but calm, steady, grounded in experience. This is one of the quiet lessons life teaches repeatedly. Clarity rarely appears before action. Confidence rarely appears before effort. But when focus becomes disciplined, both eventually emerge. So perhaps the question is not whether life will present uncertainty. Uncertainty is inevitable. The deeper question is where the mind chooses to place its attention within that uncertainty. Will attention remain trapped in doubt, or will it return again and again to growth? Because focus quietly shapes perception, and perception slowly shapes reality. Confidence then grows not from perfection, but from the simple act of continuing forward, step by step, thought by thought, moment by moment, until what once seemed distant begins to feel natural. Take a moment to reflect on this. Where has your focus been guiding your attention lately? And what might begin to change if that focus became more intentional? Sometimes the most important lessons about life are not dramatic revelations. They are quiet understandings that grow stronger over time. And perhaps one of the most powerful is this: focus guides the mind. Confidence follows the path it creates. If this reflection resonated with you, subscribe to Manifested Reality for more explorations into consciousness, perception, and the deeper principles shaping our lives. And remember, when focus becomes clear, confidence quietly finds its way forward.